It's a beautiful day today and we're going to read a whole bunch of stuff that is definitely not beautiful. It's going to be an adventure of an episode and I hope you guys are ready for this. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Am I the a-hole for adopting a dog after I thought that my boyfriend broke up with me? My boyfriend was going through a tough time and he said that he needed a break. He said that he was going to press pause on our relationship and go visit his family in Washington. I asked how you pause a relationship because I don't understand how that works. He said that he needed some time to work on himself and asked me to respect that. After he left, I reached out to him a few times on text, asking him to let me know that he arrived safe and to say hi to his mum for me. I received no response. I tried to call and I left a message asking if he'd broken up with me. I came to the conclusion that he'd ghosted me and my friends agreed. I was bummed and my best friend recommended that I find something like a new hobby or a new show to watch that wouldn't make me think of my boyfriend, so I decided to get a dog. My boyfriend is horribly allergic to pet dander, so I never even considered getting a pet. However, since he broke up with me, I decided to get one. He's a senior dog from the shelter that needed rescuing. He's low energy and likes to lay with his head in my lap while I read or work or watch TV. After 6 weeks away, my boyfriend texted me that he was back and coming over tomorrow. That was yesterday, so that we could talk. I was shocked and I texted him back asking what he was talking about. He said that he was back and ready to unpause our relationship. He said he would talk to me about everything the next day. I texted back asking what relationship. He didn't answer. Yesterday he showed up and told me that he'd done a lot of self-examination and was ready to move forward on his life path. He even wanted to talk about moving in together. And then he saw my dog and started freaking out. He asked me, how could I get a dog when I know how sick he gets? I told him that since he broke up with me, I didn't think it mattered. He said that he didn't break up with me. I said he ghosted me. He said he communicated with me telling me that he was pressing pause and visiting family. I said not answering texts is ghosting. We argued in circles and then he said that he had to leave because he was getting an allergic reaction, even though he was standing in the doorway, not inside. I feel like he broke up with me and I feel like it was okay that I got a dog. He says that he never did and therefore it's a horrible act of disregard to have gotten a dog. Which of us is right? My best friend said that I should break up with him because he's a jerk. I don't think I should have to break up with somebody that already broke up with me. If I break up with him, I'm basically agreeing with him that he didn't break up with me and therefore I was an a-hole for getting the dog. Right? Yeah, the top comment. Which of us is right? Do the semantics actually matter? 6 weeks of no contact and he just decides to magically show up again and he thinks you should have unpaused your life just because he said so? Block him and move on. He doesn't have any right to disappear without any communication and then reappear as if nothing happened and expect you to be okay about it. I'm willing to bet good money that if you accept this behavior once, it'll become reoccurring for the rest of your relationship or life. Nobody has time for that nonsense. Not the a-hole. And the response says exactly, relationships don't work on one-person timelines. You can't hit pause and then disappear for 6 weeks and then act shocked that life moved on. She got clarity and a dog. He can keep his nonsense. And the one below that, you can hit pause if both people agree to it. Relationships don't involve unilateral decision making, but breaking up does. Yeah, not the a-hole for sure, and that's definitely the consensus here. The second top comment says not the a-hole, the dog's neither here nor there. You could have had a boyfriend in the apartment when he showed up, and it would be none of his business. Pause isn't a thing. You don't put your partner on a shelf and then take them down when you're ready to play again. He played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. My guess? There's a girl where he was, and he wanted to be free to take her down from the shelf and play. Please don't take this guy back. And the response says, yup, exactly. He treated her like an option, not a partner. You don't get to vanish for 6 weeks and then act all shocked that the world moved on without you. Honestly, the dog has more loyalty than he ever did. And the one below that says he pressed pause because there was somebody that he wanted to hook up with. Break up with him for real. Keep the dog and move on. Not the a-hole. And the comment below that says not the a-hole. It's only a pause if both parties agree. A one-sided pause when the other is against it is in fact just a breakup. Yeah, and the comment below that, unsubscribe from that relationship. Yeah, send him this post, OP. Okay, post number 2. Am I the a-hole for poking fun at my cousin's divorce after she insulted my wedding? I, 29 female, got married at 20. My husband and I were young, desperately in love and super broke. I was never one to want a big wedding, so we kept it small. I will admit my cousin 36 female helped a ton with the decorations. I'm not one to be super into that stuff. I was fine with it looking a little bit plain, but she wanted to make the day special for me and I appreciated it. I sang her praises the entire day, paid her for helping me after the fact, and I made a speech the day of the wedding about how grateful grateful I was for her. I should also note that she got married a few months before me in an extremely lavish, extremely expensive wedding. Her wedding day was actually perfect and everybody still talks about it. However, she got divorced about 4 years ago. I'm unsure what has caused this, but now anytime we're together she makes fun of my wedding. She mocks how small it was. She mocks how corny the venue was. She insults my bridesmaids and my husband's family and how useless they were the day of. I normally don't react because I don't care about her opinion. However, today we were at a large Father's Day gathering with all my family. From the second that she saw me, she started ragging on my wedding to her new boyfriend. I'm not sure, but something in my brain just flipped and I said back to her, well, at least I'm still married. Everybody in my family's upset with me. They said I went below the belt with that comment, but absolutely no one's ever checked her for insulting me over and over and over. Am I the a-hole? What did she expect? The top comment says not the a-hole. You can only be pushed so far until you react. She's clearly jealous of the success of your marriage and has then resorted to insulting your wedding to cope with her feelings. Pathetic. Stick to your guns. Yeah, I don't know what she expected. Like what, she's gonna keep on insulting your wedding and you're meant to just not react? Yeah, the second top comment too, not the a-hole. She kept on pushing and she pushed too far. The comment below that says not the a-hole, they have a favorite and that's all there is to it. I'm happy that you finally pushed back. Yeah, because it's not like it happened once. It happens over and over and over again. She's been insulting OP's wedding over and over and over. The comment below that one says not the a-hole. You actually know the reason that she's ragging on your wedding. You had a simple wedding, but you have a strong marriage. She did the opposite. The optics were important to her rather than substance. This comment says not the a-hole. If she can dish it, she better learn to take it. Yeah, repeatedly insulting OP. Like what did they ever expect to happen? It said there, now anytime that we're together, she makes fun of my wedding. She mocks how small it was. She mocks how corny the venue was. She insults my bridesmaids and my husband's family and how useless they were the day of. And OP got married 9 years ago. Like this has been going on for years. And it was 9 years ago or 8 years ago. And she's still insulting it. Yeah, no, you're not the a-hole, OP. The next one. Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend's birthday party after she didn't let me in her house? I, female 23, was invited to my friend Sasha's female 23 birthday party. It was for a Friday at 8:30 p.m. We would start at her house to pregame and then go to bars. I had work that day from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. but I really wanted to go, so I rushed home and ate dinner and got ready and then drove to her place. We were texting the whole day about plans and she seemed very excited for me to join her and her friends. I am acquainted with her friends but not besties. I arrived at her house at 8:30 on the dot. I hung up the phone with my boyfriend and I texted her to let her know that I was there. She said, okay. So I walked up and I knocked on the door. I heard music and people talking inside, so I knew they were there. Nobody answered. I noticed that she had a Ring camera, so I waved in front of it knowing that Ring notifies people's phones. Still nobody let me in. I knocked even louder and texted her that I was at the door, but I was neither let in nor texted back. I knocked even louder and started shouting, hey Sasha, I'm here. I finally hear footsteps coming to the front door, but instead of letting me in, I heard the deadbolt lock click, locking me out. I walked away from the door and I called my boyfriend to tell him what was going on. I told him my feelings were hurt and that I wanted to go home. He convinced me to stay and to knock again. Rationalizing that it was a miscommunication, I texted her again saying, okay, I'm out the front. Sasha immediately answered, okay, sounds good. So I knocked again. No answer. I heard the music get turned down and Sasha say, guys, I think she's here. So I knocked as loud as I could and I said, yes, I'm here, it's me. And then footsteps came towards the door and again the deadbolt sounded and the door remained locked and the footsteps walked away. At this point, I'd been knocking for 12 minutes. I was so upset and so angry that I left and texted Sasha. So I've been knocking for over 10 minutes and nobody let me in, so I'm going home. She immediately called me, but I didn't answer because I was afraid that I'd say something out of anger that I would have later regretted. She texted me that she'd been looking through the peephole and did not see me. I think that's BS because she had a Ring camera. I told her that my feelings were hurt and that I felt unwelcomed, and I did not receive an answer. Am I the a-hole for leaving? No, definitely not. Oh, that sucks. The top comment says, Sasha ain't no friend of yours. The response says, not gonna lie, you deserve better. Don't waste your time on one-sided friendships. She's telling you who she really is. Do yourself a favor and listen. The second top comment says, what the f? This sounds like they thought this would be funny. but it was instead cruel, not the a-hole. Yeah, and the comment below that. She literally didn't let you into the party. What were you supposed to do? If my friend told me that she was at the door and I didn't see her, I would go outside to look for them. Yeah, for sure. Oh no, I didn't see you through the peephole. The comment below that says, you put the deadbolt on me twice. I got the message. You too. And the one below that says, not a friend. Even if it was supposed to be a prank, I wouldn't tolerate that for a second. She'd end up finding no way of communicating with me after that. Full on block. Yeah, and the comment below that too, not the a-hole. It sounds like you were the butt of a cruel joke. Ditch those losers. Unless they give you a very convincing explanation. Like that you were at the wrong house. Yeah, like the top comment said, Sasha ain't no friend of yours. The next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cut my hair for my boyfriend's mum's birthday dinner? So I'm 23 female, dating this guy 25 male for about a year now. Let's call him Jake. Jake's family is, well, let's just say they still think it's 1954 and everybody's supposed to dress like they're going to go meet the Queen every Sunday. Anyway, Jake's mum's turning 60 and his family planned this big fancy dinner at one of those places where the menu doesn't have prices and the portions seem like their decoration. Cool, I can play along. But a week before the dinner, Jake casually says, hey, my mum asked if you could do something more elegant with your hair for dinner. Maybe like get a trim or put it up or something less wild. Wow, okay. I was like, what? First of all, I've got curly hair, like actual curls, not the kind that you get from a curling iron. I love my hair. It's big, it's dramatic, it's me. I haven't cut it in over a year because I'm growing it out. And finally, it's hitting that glorious line main stage. I asked him, what exactly did she say? And Jake goes, she said that you're beautiful. She just thinks that you'd look more put together with a sleeker style, like more presentable. Yo, presentable for who? The Queen? The soup that costs $50? I told him nicely, look, I'll dress up, I'll wear the heels that make me walk like a baby deer on ice, I'll even avoid cussing for one night, but I'm not cutting my hair because your mum thinks I'm too fluffy. Jake got all quiet and then said that I was making a big deal out of nothing, and why can't I just compromise to make a good impression? That's not what a compromise is, Jake. The top comment says red flag time, cut, not your hair, and run, but not in the heels. And OP said, haha, I literally laughed at this. You're right though, I'm definitely not trimming myself down to fit somebody else's aesthetic. Might just sprint out of there in socks, heels in hand like Cinderella at 11:59. Yeah, and the second top comment. When is a compromise not a compromise? When one side gets their way and the other side gets nothing. Tell your boyfriend that's not a compromise, not the a-hole. Yeah, and the comment below that too, not the a-hole. Stand your ground and wear your hair any way that you want. If this exposes huge red flags in your relationship, so be it. He needs to be number one, proud of you no matter your hairstyle, and number two, defend you to his mum. Yeah, 100%. And OP said, thank you, that really means a lot. I was starting to feel like maybe I was being dramatic, but yeah, I want someone who actually likes me as is, not just when I'm toned down to fit some outdated idea of what looks proper. If my hair's the deal breaker, then maybe it's not just about the hair, you know? Yeah, and the comment below that too. The audacity it takes to ask somebody to cut their hair for a dinner. Yeah, what did we just read? And the comment below that too, Jake is not on your side. No, he's not. He's doing a terrible job here. Like, oh, my mum wants my partner to cut their hair for a dinner. And I'm on my mum's side? Are you joking, dude? Yeah, get out of there, OP. I can't believe that his mum would even have the gall to ask. But then on top of it, OP's boyfriend Jake is on his mum's side. Oh, that's terrible. The next one. Am I the a-hole for threatening to divorce my husband over Mr. Beast? Okay, that's a title that I didn't expect. I, female 24, am seriously at my wit's end. My husband, male 26, is partially deaf from DJing in his teens and early 20s, so he needs things to be louder to hear them. But what I don't get is why that has to mean that I'm involuntarily listening to Mr. Beast yelling about burying himself alive or giving away 10k to a stranger at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. He watches Mr. Beast videos on his phone at like 95 to 100% volume. Not even joking. He'll put a video on while he's in the shower, phone just blasting on the bathroom counter, and I can hear it clearly from 2 floors down. And it's always Mr. Beast, not different YouTubers, just him. Constantly. The same loud vibe, the same chaotic energy, every day. That is so annoying. I've asked him to wear headphones. He doesn't like them. I suggested subtitles. He doesn't want to read while relaxing. I even bought a small Bluetooth speaker, thinking that maybe it'd help if the sound was directional or just a bit better quality. Nope, says he prefers it from the phone speaker. After the third time this week, I got woken up by "Last to leave the circle wins 500 grand" echoing through the damn walls. I kinda snapped and said, half joking, "If I hear one more Mr. Beast video at full volume, I'm filing for divorce." Now he's sulking, saying that I don't respect his hobbies or his hearing issues. But honestly, it's not just the volume, it's the content too. I think it's childish. He's almost 30. Why is a grown man obsessed with videos made for 14-year-olds that have zero attention span? I love him, but I want peace and quiet in my own home. I'm tired of feeling like I live inside a YouTube thumbnail. Am I the a-hole? This comment says, how can one person embody the single most annoying habits of all 85-year-olds and 7-year-olds all at once? The comment below that says, since he doesn't like headphones, last solution is hearing aids. This comment says, not the a-hole, girl, you're 24. Don't spend your life with him if he already doesn't consider your needs. Yeah, I can't even imagine how annoying that would be. Like hearing that all the time at full volume too. Nah, that's so bad. Like no matter what he was listening to, it'd be super annoying. But on top of that, listening to Mr. Beast. Yeah, I feel sorry for you, OP. This comment says, why does his dislike of headphones override your dislike of hearing obnoxiously loud videos? Tell him that he has to wear headphones or earbuds, or listen outside where you can't hear the sound, or find a new wife who's gonna put up with his crap, not the a-hole. Yeah, headphones were invented for a reason. Like, oh, I don't like headphones, and I don't like reading subtitles. Like, hey, playing your videos at 100% volume, making your partner's life miserable, that's not the answer. Okay, the next one that we're gonna read. Am I the a-hole for asking my sister to leave because she brought people into my house? I, 26 male, live in a one-bedroom apartment. I work remotely and I prefer to keep to myself. My younger sister, 22 female, graduated college a few months ago and moved in with me temporarily while she applies for jobs and gets on her feet. Since our parents moved south when we both left the house, we've always gotten along pretty well. The only thing that I made clear when she moved in was that I'm not okay with people coming over. I don't host ever. I don't care if it makes me weird. I just don't feel safe around unfamiliar people in my space. I told her that early on and she said that she understood. This weekend I got back from a walk and there were 3 people that I didn't know sitting on the couch. One of them was drinking from my mug. They were laughing, watching a show, super casual like it was their place. My sister just waved like it was no big deal and said, I hope you don't mind. I didn't say anything. I turned around and left. I was outside for like 2 hours walking around. When I got back, they were gone. And I told her I can't do this. I said, I'm sorry, but I need her to start looking for another place to stay. She got really upset and said that she didn't think it would be that big of a deal, that they were only there for an hour and they weren't loud or messy. I told her it's not about that. It's about how it made me feel in my own home. I don't think I should have to feel like a guest in my own space. Now she's staying with a friend for a few days and my parents are pissed. They say that I'm being extreme and ungrateful and that I should support her while she's trying to get her life started. They said that my sister called me embarrassing, but I don't know what else I could have done. It's not about punishing her. I just don't feel safe when stuff like this happens. So yeah, am I the a-hole? Okay, so definitely a not the a-hole consensus. There are comments saying that OP should have given them one more chance before kicking them out, instead of like immediately kicking them out. But pretty much all the comments are saying that you had one rule. She said that she understood that rule and she broke that rule. The top comment says, not the a-hole, dude, you set a clear boundary, and she straight up ignored it. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, your house, your rules. You were clear about the rules. Whether she thinks it's weird or not doesn't matter. The comment below that says, how are your parents trying to say that you're being extremely ungrateful, as if you're not the one providing for her and supporting her? It's the gaslighting for me. Who are they expecting you to be grateful towards? They're gone. You pay your own way, unlike her. That doesn't even make sense. And not the a-hole, you're not obligated to house her. You chose to be kind. She took advantage of the one rule that you gave her. Her hope you don't mind comment implies that she hadn't forgot about that rule and was aware that you'd probably be upset, and then also doubled down by calling you embarrassing. The one below that says, not the a-hole, I don't like strange people in my place either, which is why I live alone. Tell your parents they're welcome to spring for an apartment for her while she gets on her feet, but that you're done. She disrespected you. You're not roommates. She's a guest and there's a world of difference. She's not paying rent or bills, so she has no say. If you give in, this will continue. And the comment below that says, we only have one rule here. Okay, I understand. Breaks the rule, gets thrown out, surprise Pikachu face. Not the a-hole. Yeah, from what I can see here, it's definitely definitely a not the a-hole consensus. There is one everybody sucks here comment under those comments. It says everybody sucks here, yeah, she f***ed up, but throwing her out over one mistake, which yes, you said clearly, but is usually something normal for people. You are antisocial, obviously, and I do get that, but she saw this as normal, as do billions of people. In my opinion, you need to give her another chance and tell her why this boundary is so important to you and that this is a red line for you going forward. This isn't court, it's not your co-worker, it's your sister. People calling out that you had a clear boundary and she broke it, so she has to go, are heartless or don't really have real life relationships. People mess up. If you throw her out now, she'll remember this for the rest of her life and you'll never be able to patch things up. You are in the right here, but throwing her out was an overreaction. Definitely still a not the a-hole consensus. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And the next one says, am I the a-hole for not planning anything for Father's Day after my husband ruined my first Mother's Day? I'm 98.7% sure that I'm not the a-hole here, but if I am wrong, I'm willing to admit it and learn from my mistakes. Our little boy will be 1 late this summer, so this was the first Mother's Day and Father's Day for both me and my husband. My husband asked what I wanted for Mother's Day. I didn't want or need anything big or expensive. What I asked for is for my husband to get up with the little guy and get him fed while I pumped and chilled. Breakfast in bed, just toast, scrambled eggs and coffee. For us to take the little guy to the zoo for the first time. This was the main thing that I was looking forward to. And to go to my favorite taco place for dinner. Between morning and afternoon naps, we have about 4 hours of awake time. The zoo's about 30 minutes away, so I'd figured that if we left as soon as he got up from his nap and ate, we would have a couple of hours at the zoo, and worst case, he could sleep in the car on the way home. We took my mum and my mother-in-law out to brunch the prior weekend to celebrate them, his mum on the Saturday and my mum on the Sunday. I also got them each a thoughtful little present and flowers to celebrate their first Mother's Day as grandparents. I arranged everything, and I told my mum and my mother-in-law that we'd be celebrating on the actual day with just our little family, and I sent them a group chat, which included husband, my dad, and father-in-law just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. My mother-in-law's super pushy and overbearing, so I didn't want there to be any surprises or confusion. The Saturday before Mother's Day, father-in-law sent my husband a text with a picture of all the mulch that he just had delivered and said something like, "Gonna be a busy weekend," or something like that. Apparently he had 300 bags of mulch. They have a big yard with lots of flower beds, and that night my mother-in-law called my husband and asked him to come over first thing in the morning to help his dad move the bags of mulch to where they were going to be used. She said that since we weren't going to go to the zoo until after little guy's nap, that husband could go over and help for a couple of hours and then come pick us up to go to the zoo. Oh my god, telling them what to do. That's so annoying. Like, hey, no, actually, we had plans. I was obviously not happy, but she guilted him and said that father-in-law was going to end up hurting himself if he moved all that by himself, and that it's not a big deal and it should only take an hour or two. I told him that his mum was doing this to try and get us to skip our plans and spend the day with them, but he kept on saying that it's not a big deal, saying that his mum promised that it'd only take a couple of hours. I think most people know what happened. Husband went over first thing, which means no breakfast in bed, and I had to get up to feed the little guy. I was kinda pissed, but whatever. Spent time with the little guy, then he went down for his morning nap. I texted my husband to let him know that he should start wrapping things up. Then when the little guy woke up 2 hours after, I called my husband to tell him that I'd be ready to go as soon as I finished feeding the little guy. He told me it was taking longer than he expected, but that he would hurry. Like an hour and a half later, my husband called and said they weren't done, but he was getting ready to come home. It's a 15 to 20 minute drive from mother-in-law and father-in-law's house, and at that point we'd missed the window to make it to the zoo. So I told him to just stay there and finish it, and not worry about Mother's Day since he hadn't done a single thing I asked for. I don't think there was any doubt in his mind how pissed off I was. A little later, his mum called and said that since we decided not to go to the zoo, that me and the little guy should go hang out with her while the boys finished with the mulch. I admit that I was pretty pissy, and I told her that I had no interest in spending time with the people who decided to ruin my first Mother's Day. I ended up staying home and ordering a pizza and binging Netflix. When husband got home, he was all apologetic and asked how he could make it up to me. I was still pissed, and I told him that he could make it up to me by not ruining my first Mother's Day. I also told him that he should plan on spending Father's Day with his mum and dad, because me and the little girl were going to go celebrate Father's Day with my mum and dad. Since Mother's Day, mother-in-law's been texting and calling, but I've been keeping conversations short and just giving very bland, generic responses. My husband's been apologizing and asking what he can do, but to be honest, I don't want to bother. I know it's just a day and that we can celebrate anytime, like we did with my mum and mother-in-law, but it was my first ever Mother's Day, and it's not not like I asked for anything expensive or difficult. The only difficult thing is that he's incapable of setting boundaries with his mum. Yeah, and oh my god, another one. In every single episode we read about this. Oh no, I prioritize my mum instead of my partner. It is so exhausting. And it's probably not gonna get better either. That's the most annoying part about this sort of stuff. If he doesn't put a stop to it, it's not ever gonna stop. And she's incapable of considering anybody's feelings but her own. This past Saturday, he asked if I was still going to go to my parents, and then said that he'd like to go with us. I told him he could do whatever he wanted, but since I hadn't done anything for his dad, he might want to go see him or something. We did both end up going to my parents and spending the day with them. It was actually a nice day. My dad insisted on grilling because of course he did, but the weather ended up being nice and we spent a lot of time hanging out on their deck playing with the little guy. I'm not sure what, if anything, my husband did for his dad. I know that he was getting a lot of text during the day, I assume from his mum. She did send me a snippy text saying that it was hurtful to spend the day with my family at the expense of husbands, but I told her she got to spend Mother's Day with her baby boy, so it's only fair that I spend Father's Day with my family. I know my husband was hurt that we didn't acknowledge him for Father's Day, but I told him while we were driving to my parents' house that I'm just matching his energy. I admit that I haven't done anything to de-escalate the drama, but I'm still just so hurt that he continues to prioritize his mum's feelings over our little family. This isn't the first time that his mum's done crap like this, and I'm just so tired of it. She always oversteps and insists on doing what she wants. I'm doing better at keeping her at arm's length and holding my own boundaries, but my husband's absolutely incapable of it. Yeah, that's not good, OP, and it's probably not gonna change. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, but as they say in the Just No Mother-in-Law subreddit, you don't have a mother-in-law problem, you have a husband problem. And it's only going to continue until he grows a spine. Yeah, for sure. This comment says the 300 bags of mulch could have sat in the driveway until such a time when it wasn't Mother's Day. It's not radioactive, it's mulch. It definitely could have waited, not the a-hole. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, oh hey, I know it's Mother's Day, but son, you need to come over and help your dad. Like, from the second that the mother-in-law was super demanding about him going over and doing that, that was an immediate red flag. And the next red flag is that the husband doesn't say no. Like, him and his mum, OP, are the worst combination ever. And I don't really feel like it's ever gonna get better. Do you think that all of a sudden he's gonna start standing up to her? Like, he probably never will. Yeah, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. I feel sorry for you. This situation sucks. This comment says not the a-hole, but you do need to address this with your husband. As somebody has already said, you've got a husband problem. Yeah, your mother-in-law's pushy, but your husband is allowing her to do that. And you know what? Good for you for matching his energy. But in the long run, it's not going to work to continue to do that. Feelings get hurt and resentment builds. Is he going to skip out on his child's events because his mother wants attention? He has to be the one to change or it never will. Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, I don't really feel like he's going to change. Like, maybe, this comment says not the a-hole, but he still got to celebrate his first Father's Day because he realized it was important to him. So he made sure that he went with you to the parents. Whereas for Mother's Day, he chose not to listen to you because he just didn't want to grow a spine and stay true to the plans that he made with you. This comment says not the a-hole. Although you knew that your husband wasn't going to make it to you by the time your son woke up, why didn't you just take your son and enjoy the zoo? And OP said, I really should have. I think I was trying to convince myself that he'd come through for us. Lesson learned. Yeah, if I were you, OP, I'd be telling him that he needs to start standing up for you and he needs to be able to stand up to his mum, or I probably wouldn't stay with him. Like all the comments are saying, this is what your future is going to be like. This is not like a one-off event. It's definitely not the first time that he's done stuff like this, and it's only going to happen again and again and again. Yeah, he needs to put a stop to this. Good luck, OP. And yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus in the comments. And the next one. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter-in-law that I will never be her mother and to leave me alone? This is mainly about my daughter-in-law, Kat. Her mother ran out on her when she was a child and she went into foster care. According to my son, she's currently seeing a therapist. My issue with Kat is that she's repeatedly stomped on my boundaries. She's a very touchy person. She refuses to call me by my name and only refers to me as mum. I correct her every time since I'm not comfortable being called mum by her, and I want her to use my name. There have been multiple times where she's asked inappropriate questions, mainly about about why I'm not close to my own mother. For context, my mother was horrible. Kat keeps on pushing for details and insists that I should get closer to her because family sticks together. She basically tells me to forgive my mum, and she doesn't understand not being close with one's parents. I've told her to drop the topic multiple times, and she refuses. Because of all of this, I'm not a huge fan of hers. I've spoken to my son about it, and he asked me to be patient. I've also talked to Kat multiple times and asked her to respect my boundaries. She always says that she will, but then goes right back to ignoring them. This is where I might be the jerk. My daughter, Sam 20, and I are taking a weekend trip. Sam has medical issues and needs to see a specialist a few states over. She has not disclosed the issue to the rest of the family yet. She plans to when she has a firm plan. Somehow word about the trip got back to Kat, and she called me asking me why she wasn't invited. I told her it's an important trip and not a fun one. She accused me of lying, claiming that it was a mother-daughter trip that she was excluded from. I told her again that it's not a girls' trip. She wouldn't let it go and started demanding that she come, saying that she's my daughter and needs to be there. I said no again. She kept on insisting, saying that I'm her mum and she has to come on this trip since she's my kid. That's when I snapped. I told her I'll never be her mother. Just because she married my son does not make me her parent. I told her to leave me the alone, and that even if it was a mother-daughter trip, she still wouldn't have been invited because she isn't my kid. I then hung up. My son says that I need to apologize and invite her. No, you don't. That I'm a huge to her. That I was way out of line and I need to make it up to Kat. No, you don't. You know how rude it is to demand to be invited to something? You don't need to apologize. The situation has spread to the rest of the family and everybody seems to have their own opinion. Sam's getting flack too, which isn't helping, especially since she doesn't want to disclose the reason for the trip yet. Am I being an a-hole? Do I need to apologize? Even though these are my true feelings on her trying to make me her parent? No, you're not the a-hole. The top comment says not the a-hole. Your daughter-in-law's trying to use you to heal her mother wound instead of trying to build a relationship with you organically. She sounds insufferable, to be honest. Yeah, overstepping boundaries over and over and over again. Calling OP mum when OP has said not to so many times. And then when OP goes on a trip, the daughter-in-law is demanding to go too. The second top comment says not the a-hole, you don't just have a daughter-in-law problem, you also have a son problem. He's clearly enabling whatever Delulu world that she lives in. Keep enforcing your boundaries. The comment below that says not the a-hole, block her number, only communicate through your son, explain to your son that you're not required to ignore your boundaries just to make somebody else comfortable, and that no's a complete sentence. That you're not required to apologize for getting frustrated that she doesn't listen to your needs, or your wants, or your boundaries, that you don't owe her one explanation, let alone many. Ask why you'd willingly take a trip with somebody who chooses not to listen to you, who constantly disrespect you. Why would you subject yourself to that? And why should you be expected to? Why should you be miserable on a trip? And also, why should your daughter be subjected to that? And the comment below that says 1,000 times not the a-hole. Kat wanting a mother doesn't mean that you are her mother, or will ever be her mother. And yeah, you snapped, but only after repeatedly asking her to respect your boundaries, asking your son to help his wife respect your boundaries. Kat's not the victim here, despite what she's trying to prove. She's the a-hole. And this comment says not the a-hole, you did not marry her, your son did. She's your son's wife. I think you were right to be honest with her, because she wasn't taking the hint and not really hearing you all the other times. Shut your son down and say, I understand that you want peace, and I respect your role as Kat's husband, but I need you to understand something clearly. I have been respectful and patient with Kat for a long time, even when she repeatedly ignored my boundaries. I've asked her not to call me mum. I've asked her not to pry into painful family issues. I've tried to be kind, but she keeps on pushing. This trip was never meant to exclude her, nor did it have anything to do with her at all. In fact, it's a private matter concerning Sam's health, and frankly, it's not her place to demand access to that. When someone consistently refuses to respect clear boundaries, there comes a point where I have to firmly assert them. That's what I did. It wasn't about being mean for me, it was about finally being heard. I don't owe anybody the title of mum. That is earned, it's not assumed through marriage. I'm willing to be civil and kind, but she must respect the relationship for what it is and not what she wants it to be. I will not apologize for standing up for myself, especially when I've tried the gentle route and been ignored. Kat's not my daughter, and this trip is not about her. And that's final. Yeah, OP's not the person who needs to apologize. Yeah, from what I've seen here, all the comments are not the a-hole. And moving on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for not letting my brother's girlfriend be in our wedding family photo? I, 28 male, recently recently got married. Everything went well overall, but there was a bit of drama involving my brother 26 male and his current girlfriend 22 female. Basically, my brother has a new girlfriend like every month. I'm not exaggerating. He never had a relationship that lasted longer than 2 to 3 months, and we've all just kinda gotten used to it. It's kinda like a family joke actually. So when it came time to take our official family wedding photos, I got him to the side and I asked him politely if his girlfriend could sit out of that specific photo. They were together for 2 months. We included her in the casual photos, but for the formal family portrait that's going to be framed and hung in our home, I just didn't want to include somebody who we probably won't even see again in a month in our family picture that'll stay forever. Yeah, that's super understandable. He got really upset and said that I was being disrespectful to him and his relationship. He said that I'm acting like his relationships don't matter. My dad came and convinced him for a moment to take the photo without her, but they left the wedding early after taking the photo without her. Now he's barely talking to any of us, and the worst thing is my mum's on his side and said that I should have included her and that I can't know if their relationship is gonna last or not. She said that once me and my wife were in our second month of dating and how we got to marriage, now both my brother and my mum are mad at me. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I got nothing against her personally. She seems nice, but I know my brother. I don't think he takes relationships serious. He had more girlfriends last year than I had in my whole life. No, not the a-hole. The top comment says not the a-hole. If I were the girlfriend, I would have happily not been in those pictures. That would have been too awkward. The one below that says I wouldn't even want to be in formal family pictures if I was the girlfriend. This comment says not the a-hole, but pulling him aside during the pictures is kind of high conflict at your wedding. You could have easily taken a picture with her and without her, with the photographer orchestrating the ins and outs of all the formal portraits. If you do enough movement and rearranging, the picture you covered most without her could have been taken without them realizing that she wasn't in it. You have to use the professionals. This comment says not the a-hole. Family photos are for family members. She's not a family member. Your brother hasn't even expressed wanting her to be his wife or life partner. And the one below that says not the a-hole. She's honestly lucky that she even got an invite being that new to the family. And he's being dramatic as hell about it. One of the top comments says I would have insisted that I not be in the photo. I went to a family wedding with my boyfriend of a year. I stayed away from the family photos. They insisted that I was in them, but I didn't want to be. It worked out because we're married now, but we weren't together long enough for me to feel comfortable in family photos. That photo hangs in his mum's living room, and his brother's girlfriend is in the picture. She's been out of the picture for 7 years, not the a-hole. Yeah, from what I can see here, it's definitely a not the a-hole consensus. And the last one for today, am I the a-hole for getting one of my nephews less special gifts than the others? I, 36 male, have 3 nephews. Albert, 14, is my sister's son. Nathan, 14, and Sam, 12, are my brothers. A week ago, I went on a holiday in Europe. I asked the kids what they wanted. Albert wanted an official cap from his favourite football club. Nathan some chocolate that's not available in our country. And Sam a couple of museum guidebooks. I was able to get all the items. My brother was not pleased though. He said it could upset Sam to see the others get more special gifts, and I could have gotten him something extra not on the list. Update. So I talked to my brother again. He said that he was upset about something else and took it out on me when I visited. We're good now. The top comment says your brother's projecting. He wouldn't want the guidebooks and doesn't value them, so he thinks that they're a trash gift. But I'll bet Sam, who requested them, really does value them. Yeah, for sure, and he asked for them, so he obviously does want them. He's probably going to be super excited. And the comment below that says, not the a-hole, your brother's an idiot. Petty too. You got your nephews what they requested. And also, why are chocolate and a sports cap considered better than museum guidebooks? Sam seems like a smart kid. Yeah, for sure, and that's enough for today. Time to read something wholesome. The pupil of your eye can expand as much as 55% while looking at something that you love. Oh my god, garlic bread. Yeah, garlic bread is so good. Jin's pupils get so big, it's actually kind of horrifying. It's like the bottom picture. But he doesn't look at garlic bread, he looks at imaginary people in the room. So that's a little bit different. And this one too. Me whenever one of my friends shares art that they made. It's beautiful. I've looked at this for 5 hours now. Yeah, that's so beautiful. There's nothing better than supportive friends. Thank you for watching everybody. I hope you had a great time today. If you did, make sure you let me know down below in the comments. And the comment of the day today goes to Christian the First. Vincey is a myth. He's really 6 cats in a trench coat. Oh my god, who told you? I'm not even a person. I'm a whole bunch of cats stuck together. No, I'm not a cat, but I kinda wish I was. That would be so awesome. That is such a good comment. Thank you for commenting that, and thank you for the support. If I really were 6 cats in a trench coat, I'd tell you guys. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you for the support, everybody. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!